Hi, this is My Two Favorite Librarians. I'm Denise Corey.
And I'm Chantel Taylor. And today we're going to talk about Remembrance Day, war books.
I called it War is Heck.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's my title for it. Yeah, so I feel like this is more of a serious topic than we usually discuss.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because, Remembrance Day, I think, is really important.
I totally agree.
I go to the ceremony and spend a few minutes remembering the people who have fought for us. So, but I don't read a lot of war books.
I went through, the only thing that I've read recently is The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. It's a juvenile book, so it's for I would say it's preteen, teen, early teen kids. My book club, actually, my work book club, read it and really enjoyed it. And it's about a young girl, and she and her brother get sent out at the beginning of World War II into the country. And she's got
which was pretty common in
Yep.
England. They were sending the kids out.
They expected the Germans to bomb right away. And I didn't realize that the Germans didn't start bombing until well into, I think it was it just into the summer, or it was quite a while after the war started. But she's got a club foot, and she's been trapped in her apartment, and she teaches herself to walk without her mother's knowledge because she knows her mother's not going to send her out with the other kids. So she and her brother end up in the country, and they end up with this woman who's just lost her partner. And so they're all kind of really dysfunctional, and they come together to sort of make this really nice family.
And your book club loved it.
We really liked it. I liked it a lot.
Did you cry?
I did cry. There was quite a bit of, because Dunkirk happens in the book, and so they've got soldiers coming in who are injured. Initially there's not much going on. Is it Dunkirk that happens? Oh my gosh, this is terrible. But they do have a bombing on their little...
I would suggest you read the book, because obviously your memory is faulty.
Yes, it's been a couple of, but they've got a little airplane base, and it gets bombed. Their house gets bombed. So the war really does hit them, even though initially they're sort of living in this idyllic little
insulated
place.
From
Yeah.
it. A couple things I wanted to mention that we have at the library, in case people didn't realize it, is we have No Retreating Footsteps, the story of the North Nova Scotia Highlanders by Will R. Bird. We also have a documentary of the North Nova Scotia Highlanders, the Fighting North Novies into the Fire, the story of the Nova Scotian Highlanders in Normandy. So they were a company from this area. So I think people might find that interesting.
Yeah, some local history.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we want to talk about some movies?
Yes, let's do that.
I wanted to talk about, I went through a list this morning looking at the best war movies ever made. And interestingly enough, Casablanca came up as number one on a lot of lists.
Well, I mean, it is set in World War II.
It is, but I wouldn't necessarily think of it as a war movie.
And I mean, the characters come to Casablanca. Ingrid Bergman and her husband, I can't remember what her character's name is.
Elsa? Yeah, because it's Rick and...
Yeah, they come because he's running from the Nazis, and they need to get out of there. And it's... isn't it part of... I mean, I know they're not in France, but it's part of that sort of Nazi-occupied French colony.
Territory or something. Yeah. But some other good ones that are sort of non-traditional. So, The Pianist... Adrian Brody. I did watch that movie. It was really, really good. Imitation Game, which is fairly new. That's with Benedict Cumberbatch, and he plays the guy who broke the Enigma code during World War II.
Okay.
The English Patient, another kind of non-traditional war, because it is taking place during the war.
Based on a book by Michael Ondaatje.
Yeah. But also one of my favorite movies is The Best Years of Our Life, 1946. And it shows three soldiers coming back from World War II and how they're just going right back into their lives again as if nothing happened. And it's after all the sort of pomp and circumstance is over, and how do you go on with your life?
How do you reintegrate into like regular?
You know, your wife and your family are waiting for you and they have no idea what you've experienced. One of the guys lost his hands. How is he going to get a job? What's he going to do? One of the guys got married just before he left, as a lot of soldiers did, and he came back, and this wife that he doesn't really know is like, well, you're not good enough for me, and your job isn't like, you need to...
Ugh.
It's really sad, and it was one of the best. Like, it won the best Oscar. It is a fantastic,
I've never seen it. I should watch that. I would also recommend a couple of miniseries.
Yes. Yep.
Band of Brothers.
I've seen bits and pieces.
It follows the Easy Company in World War II, and it's based on a book written by Stephen Ambrose, who was a member of Easy Company.
Yep.
So it's his perspective of being in war, and they've fictionalized it. And another one called The Pacific, and that's a World War II miniseries, but it focuses on the Marines who are fighting in the Pacific, because of course the war had two fronts, but most of the time you just hear about Europe.
Yes, yeah.
And the Pacific is directed by Steven Spielberg, so I mean, that's going to be a pretty amazing miniseries. Also, all available at the library.
Yes, yep.
What are you reading now?
Do you know what? I don't have anything written down that I'm reading, which is really odd for me. I'm trying to think of...
Maybe you're not reading. Maybe I'll win.
No, I will. No, I don't want to give it away. I want to save it for another show.
Yeah.
Don't give your number away yet.
Okay, I won't give my number away.
I did start a book. I downloaded it from Overdrive, and I've basically just read 2 pages, and I can't even tell you what the author's name is. It's called Men Explaining Things.
Is it fiction or nonfiction?
I believe it's nonfiction.
Yeah. I will be interested to hear what you have to say about that.
You talk about yours, and I'll look up who the author is.
I am reading Firefly Cloak by Sherry Reynolds, and this is fiction. So 8-year-old Tessa Lee and her brother Travis are abandoned at a campground by their mother. And the only thing she leaves them is she wrote a phone number on Travis's back in magic marker, and it's her mother's number, so these kids' grandmother's number, and a house coat painted with fireflies. And she just disappears, and so the kids go and live with their grandparents. And then 7 years later, when Tessa Lee is 15, she finds out that her mother is working at a tourist trap about 2 hours away from where she lives. And so she goes there to find her mother. And so I'm about halfway through that.
Interesting.
It's good. It's a good book. And I'm listening to it on audiobook.
Okay.
And it's a good reader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Men Explaining Things is by Rebecca Slotnick, and
I saw you scrolling by it, and you said the title wrong.
Oh, did I? Men Explain Things to Me. Sorry, you are correct. Men Explain Things to Me by Rebecca Slotnick, and in the description it says, in her comic scathing essay, Men Explain Things to Me, Rebecca Slotnick took on what often goes wrong in conversations between men and women. So it should be good. We'll see.
What's happening at the library?
The library is going to be open regular hours on Monday, November the 12th. I think a lot of things are closed, but we are going to be open.
Yes, because we will be closed November 11th, but it's a Sunday, and we're always closed on a Sunday. Also, on Wednesday, November 7th, the Oxford Library is showing Teen Titans Go.
I do not like Teen Titans. I love Teen Titans, but Teen Titans Go is like Teen Titans on speed. It is not. I did not enjoy it.
Well, it's not for you. It's
everything is for me.
For the children. It's for the children. And you should bring a snack. Well, not you, because it's not for you. The children.
The children should bring a snack.
All right. What are we talking about next week?
Next week, we're going to be talking about budget books. We're going to be talking about some money.
Oh.
Money planning.
That's always a
fun topic.
Fun topic. All right, so follow us on
Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of our socials are different, so check out our website.
www.cumberlandpubliclibraries.ca
to get all our pertinent details. You can see our calendar of events. You can find our catalog. You can see
Look up all of the books and movies and TV shows that we recommended to you today.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye.